Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly VOC news, where we bring you the latest and the most significant news around Chinland this past week. My name is Alvin, and here are tonight's news headlines. Heavy fighting has erupted in southern Chinland after the military launched an offensive into Mindat and Gamblet townships with an estimated force of around 2,000 troops. Meanwhile, approximately 250 junta soldiers have reportedly been deployed from Hakka to Tantlang in 4 military trucks as the military prepares for a new offensive against Tantlang Township. In another development, the ASEAN Parliamentarians for Human Rights (APHR) has welcomed the formation of a steering committee for the emergence of a Federal Democratic Union (SCEF), pledging its support and continued cooperation toward the establishment of a Federal Democratic Union. We'll bring you these stories and more of the most important developments from across Chinland and Myanmar in this week's new roundup. Heavy fighting continues in Mindat and Kamplet as junta launches major offensive with around 2,000 troops. Heavy fighting is ongoing in southern Chinland after the military launched a large-scale offensive into Mindat and Kamplet townships with an estimated force of around 2,000 troops, according to a statement released by the Chin People's Organization and Chin People's Army (CPU-CPA). The CPU-CPA said fierce clashes have been taking place between junta forces and the Chin People's Army, along with allied resistance forces, since around mid-May. According to the statement, CPA and its allied forces have successfully resisted and repelled the junta's offensives. Facing setbacks on the battlefield, the military has reported carried out repeated airstrikes using fighter jets and Y-12 aircraft. The CPO-CPA also warned that misinformation, rumors, and unverified reports regarding the fighting have been circulating online. It said such false information has caused unnecessary public fear and anxiety while also creating other negative consequences. As a result, the organization urged the public to rely only on official announcements used by relevant organizations regarding developments on the battlefield. Meanwhile, the Minda Township IDP Assistant Committee reported that nearly 17,000 people have been displaced by the military's ongoing offensive in Minda Township. According to records complied by the committee, a total of 766 civilians died in Minda Township during the more than 4-year period between January 2021 and December 2024. Of those deaths, more than 400 were reportedly caused by shortages of medicine and treatment for chronic illnesses and stroke-related conditions. More than 100 others died from illnesses, including fever, stomach-related diseases, and edema. The committee also recorded 14 cases involving stillbirths, newborn deaths, or the deaths of infants after 3 months old, as well as 17 maternal deaths. Local residents of Mindat Township have been repeatedly displaced for extended periods since the military coup due to ongoing armed conflict. The IDP Assistant Committee said many residents now face the prospect of another prolonged period of displacement as fighting continues. Junta deploys around 250 troops from Hakka toward Tantlang, preparing for a new offensive. The military junta has reportedly deployed around 250 troops from Hakka toward Tantlang Township and is preparing to launch a new offensive against the area, according to local sources. A military source said that approximately 250 junta soldiers from the Hakka-based Military Strategic Command departed Hakka on the evening of June 3rd in 4 military trucks and have since reached the area near Timit Bridge along the Hakka-Tantlang Road. The source added that the troops transported 5 large combat drones, drop bombs, ammunition, and other military supplies to the Timit military outpost. The forces are reportedly regrouping there as they prepare for an offensive toward Tantlang. On June 5th, the military also carried out at least 5 airstrikes near Auto Mountain, located along the Hakka-Tantlang Road, according to reports. Auto Mountain is considered a strategically important position between Hakka and Tantlang and is currently under the control of Chinland government forces. No casualties or damage were reported among resistance forces as a result of the airstrikes. Sources said the military likely launched the aerial attacks to clear the route ahead of its planned offensive against Tantlang Township. Tantlang remains a contested area jointly controlled by Qin resistance forces and junta troops. Military sources believe the junta may soon launch a large operation aimed at gaining full control of the township. Two civilians killed and homes burned as junta troops advanced toward Mindat. Two civilians, including a 16-year-old high school student, were reportedly captured and killed by junta troops advancing toward Mindat Township in southern Chinland. The troops also burned down around 10 houses in Dinchang village, according to local sources. A resident of Mindat Township said soldiers from the junta's artillery battalion 368 based in Jiaotu entered Dinchang village on May 30th and set fire to approximately 10 civilian homes. The source added that the troops brutally killed a 16-year-old grade 10 student and a 60-year-old man near the entrance of the village. The military is currently conducting a large-scale offensive toward Mindat from the Yor region of Magui region, deploying significant numbers of troops. According to the Mindat Township IDP Assistant Committee, intense fighting is taking place about 10 miles from Mindat Town, while the number of internally displaced people continues to increase day by day as the conflict escalates. APHR welcomes formation of SCEF and pledges continued cooperation. The ASEAN Parliamentarians for Human Rights APHR has welcomed the formation of the Steering Committee for the Emergence of a Federal Democratic Union SCEF and pledged to continue working closely with the body in support of Myanmar's democratic transition. APHR made the remarks in a message sent to the 10th session of the Union Parliament, which was held on June 1st. In its statement, APHR said it welcomed and supported the establishment of SCEF, describing it as a meaningful step toward building a people-centered federal democratic system in Myanmar. The organization also reaffirmed its long-lasting support for a bottom-up federal system that amplifies the voices of ethnic nationalities, women, and civil society organizations. APHR pledged to continue engaging and cooperating with SCEF as efforts toward a federal democratic future move forward. APHR further stated that elections held under the threat of armed force cannot genuinely represent the will of the people. It argued that simply changing military uniforms does not amount to a change in governance and urged ASEAN and the international community not to recognize any military-led government. The group also emphasized that it has not forgotten the people of Myanmar and will continue to stand firmly with the committee representing Pidangsulut CRPH, which it described as the legitimate legislative voice of the people, as well as the National Unity Government, NUG, ethnic resistance organizations, civil society groups, and all those working toward the emergence of a federal democratic future. More than 40 civilians feared killed as junta forces carried out mass killings and arson attacks in Bokoku Township. The military junta has reportedly carried out mass killings of civilians and widespread arson attacks in Niche town and surrounding villages in Bakoku Township, Magui region, according to local resistance sources. A junta column of approximately 500 troops consisting of soldiers from Division 101 based in Bakoku Infantry Battalion 415 based in Yang'u and members of the VOC militia from Angta village launched an operation toward Niche town located across the Irrawaddy River from Bagan on May 10th. According to the Anya Land Joint Forces, the military column burned down more than 1,000 civilian homes in Miche and over 10 nearby villages during the 20-day operation between May 10 and May 31st. The group also reported that at least 25 civilians were arrested and killed during the operation. After junta troops withdrew from Niche on June 2nd, local residents returned to inspect the area and reportedly discovered numerous decomposed bodies, buried remains, and burned human skeletons scattered throughout the town. Sources estimate that at least 40 people may have been killed, including women, children, and elderly residents. The actual death toll could be higher as investigations continue. The violence has also triggered a large-scale displacement crisis with an estimated 60,000 to 80,000 residents forced to flee their homes and seek shelter in forests and remote areas to escape the fighting and the military raids. That concludes our news for this week. Thank you for listening to VOC and have a great week. Goodbye.